My name's Calvin Waite, and I trade Bitcoin and cryptocurrency for a living. So, a while ago, I talked about how I have a bunch of bots running and only 7% of them were long, and how crazily unusual that is. Well, at end of day, I have 33% of them in long positions. So moving from 7% up to 33% means that there is a change in the altcoin market. Things are starting to bottom and things are starting to round out. So I'm betting that a few more will start in the next couple of days, and we will start a little bit of an alt season here. Shouldn't be long. So Bitcoin is right on target for what we were hoping would happen. We did see a little bit of a slowdown, and this handoff is what we're looking at. If you look at the high right here, the high is 11,183.01, and we need a low that's 11,183.01 or less. We're not quite there. So the question you might ask is, what about this? Did this low here count as our handoff between this point and the handoff that we're looking for? And the answer is no, because these are all green bars. There's not enough time for us to show the top versus the bottom. You have to remember that everything in investing is emotion, and you have to sell somebody on something. So we have to sell investors that our momentum has dropped off, but that it hasn't dropped off in a way that has increased the fear in the market and caused a sell-off. So this is a perfect curve. This is exactly what we wanted to see after this rise. It's perfect, but we didn't quite get our handoff yet. So I'm expecting maybe 1 or 2 more days of a little bit of a low, and then we'll be fine. The really cool thing here is that if you look at the tops of these candles versus the bottoms, which side is longer? This is longer, this is longer, this is longer, this is longer, this is longer than their tops respectively. So what does that tell you? That tells you even though we have a correction that's happening to give us some room, there's still a lot of bullish momentum. Nobody's letting this just sell off and die. So it's very optimistic. You can feel the energy in this move. And when we get down a little bit further, we get a nice solid spot in here. We're going to be turning this around, and it won't be, I seriously expect us to start heading back up within 7 days. So within a week, we should start heading towards 12,000 and start seeing some new highs. Pretty exciting. This is when you've got your sell limit order and the price is rising like crazy and you're like, oh, I'm about to close, I'm about to close, I'm about to close. And then the price is like, no, I think I'll go back down to where I was. Today is the perfect day to talk about Lumen. So XLM has been a little bit on the news, and I've done a little bit of TA on this particular coin before, so you can see sort of the two most important lines in the history of Lumen, going back to, well, let's call it Stellar. So Stellar since mid 2016, and we've had this really incredible run. But I wanted to show you something interesting. So if you're looking at this on a weekly chart, nothing looks wrong with this chart, right? But if you look at it on a daily chart, we had a spectacular fake out. So this is very interesting. So we had this just a terrible, since July, we have absolutely fallen on our face. And you can just see how we've just kind of sold off. And we finally touched this really long-term support. And for a long time, I mean, this is, we originally touched it. It lasted 20 days. 20 days is a long time to be touching a support like this. And so I saw that we had consolidated on this support line, and I was expecting a move up. Well, a couple of days ago, we had a drop below. And most traders will say, here's your support. You drop below support, and you need to short this. Well, that's not how I trade. The reason is, if something is on its way down, the odds of this being your bottom is not as high as this being your bottom, and this isn't even as high as this being your bottom. Nothing goes one direction all the time. Everything has its ups and downs. Things that you think will never stop going up eventually turn around, and things that you think will only go down for the rest of eternity, they have their moments. Everything does change course at some time. And so when we've sold off for a good solid 3 months, I'm not shorting anything at this point. Everybody's had their chance to make money shorting already, and at some point we're going to see our turnaround. Well, when we dipped below this is a professional move right here. This is a professional whale move, because you know that you can pick up a couple of extra before you move the market. So these guys know exactly what they're doing. This would have been everybody that's following Joe Schmo average trader would have said, this is your point to go short. But the second we got below, less than 24 hours later, we have this massive candle. And this chart is now looking more bullish than ever, because we're at the bottom of a huge swing. We've had a consolidation, and now we have hit a higher high that we've had in the past. Like we've had these swing highs, and they're very, very minor, but this is our highest one in 4 swing highs. So this is a monumental move. This is such a good bullish move right here. And so just to, some of you guys have asked me, like, do you ever short anything? And I never ever short. And they say, do you ever use stops? And I don't use stops. The reason why is because this type of action is where I don't like to get stopped out on stuff like this. What I like to do is take a very small position. So, there wasn't much to trade on right here. So had I got faked out and decided, hey, look at this, we're starting to flatten, we're starting to move. Now normally I would wait for a move down. So I would have picked up something like this maybe here, if I'd have gotten it. But this is where I would have made my, let's just say that this is where I made my purchase. Well, I'm wrong. I missed. So what I do is I put a break-even exit right here, and then I wait for my next opportunity. When I saw this consolidation, I was waiting for an entrance. And I believe I did pick some up right after we had touched the bottom down here, because this is good enough for me. I see a higher support. I see we're on a long-term trend, and so I long right here. So now I've been faked out again. No problem. My position here is less than 1% of my entire portfolio, and most often I'll even do only a 20th of my portfolio in my trades. But if it's a big coin that has a lot of liquidity, I'll maybe put a half a position or something. Well, now we've got things moving the right way, and I'm glad I didn't take a loss, because this trade right here will probably exit in the next 2 days at break even, and I've got all of the gains from this one here. It's just all about being patient. You still have to make smart trades, because if you're buying up here and you're buying in the middle of these big runs, you're going to find yourself really upside down, and it's harder to say whether you'll break even here. But if I'm making a purchase near the bottom of a giant run, even if it sells off a little more, I know I've got plenty of room to bounce. There's a phrase in trading called a dead cat bounce. It's kind of like even a dead cat will bounce. Even something that is so dead and has hardly any life in it, it's not going your way. everything will bounce at some point. It'll be very interesting to see where this heads, but this is likely a bottom for a while. So I am really happy about this entrance right here. Hey, thanks for hanging on till the end of the video. If you liked anything I said, please support the channel by subscribing. If not, feel free to leave a comment and I'd be happy to take a look and make improvements to the channel so it'll be better next time.